Hi, and welcome to the Ron Hall Show. We are live in windy, where are we?
Windy Wayne, Oklahoma.
Wayne, Oklahoma, at the world famous Flying W Ranch, home of the Dakota Webster Bullfighting School for Rodeo Bullfighters.
And let me tell you, we have to thank Cavenders for sponsoring Dakota's dream of going to Dakota Webster's Bullfighting School. Cavenders is the place for your non-stop shop for Western wear, whether you're a cowboy or a cowgirl. They've been in business for over 50 years, so please stop by and see them at one of their 86 locations.
Yes, and our friend Mike Cavender says, it's not what you wear, it is how you live your life, and we chose to go Western. And over there is Dakota Webster in the cowboy hat.
Look at the baby cowboy,
Dakota.
the little cowboy.
And Dakota West. Oh, good move. Good move, Dakota. Good move. Good move. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Good move. Good move. Good move. That one a while ago when he ran over you a little bit. Did that hurt?
No, whenever that cow ran over me, I knew that it was coming and everything like that. So I just kind of tucked and rolled and let her roll over the top of me. To that point, my buddies helped me out, get me out of there. I mean, that's the cool thing about being a bullfighter is these guys, we're not just random guys here hanging out. It's a brotherhood with this right here, which is one of the best things that you can do. It's even in the Bible it says nothing is better than laying your life down for your brother, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Is you put your health and your fitness on the line for these guys. If somebody ends up getting rolled or something like that, this is absolutely just a wonderful thing to do. I mean, some people think it's crazy, some people think it's stupid, but with the teachings that Cody's given us, it's just any other simple thing that we do.
All right, good luck. Hey, and welcome to the Ron Hall Show, where we share the meaningful that makes life beautiful. Today we are recording at Billy Bob's, Texas, on the historic north side of Fort Worth, and we're sitting right in the middle of the bull ring, where you see the bull riders on the weekends. But I bet when you think about real life heroes, what's the first job that comes to your mind? You probably think about a firefighter, of course, a police officer, a soldier, yes, a soldier, maybe even an emergency room doctor or nurse. But I'll bet rodeo bullfighting never crosses your mind. And while the Cowboys may be the stars of the rodeo, riding those 2,000 pounds of raging, stomping hell, praying that they can hang on for 8 seconds in the spotlight, you know, it's the rodeo bullfighters who are the real heroes in this world. They risk their lives every moment as they rush in between the cowboys and bulls to save lives. And if you think that sounds easy, add the pressure of entertaining hundreds of cheering rodeo fans while fighting a bull. But today's episode, I am so happy to tell you, is about one of those unsung heroes who puts his life on the line to save others every performance, and the near impossible odds that this young man had to overcome to achieve his dream of becoming a rodeo bullfighter. But before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Cavenders. Yes, where America shops for boots, hats, and Western wear. And remember, at Cavenders, it's not what we wear, it's how we live. And with 87 locations nationwide, online shopping 24/7, exceptional quality and commitment to customer service, if you love the Western lifestyle like I do, and I've got a buckle to prove it, a championship buckle, yes, you will love Cavenders. So now I'm going to ask you a question. What kind of person would willingly sign up to be trampled by a 2,000-pound bull every time they go to work? Well, let's find out. Welcome to the show, my friend and newly graduate rodeo bullfighter, Dakota West.
Thanks for having me, Ron. I really appreciate it. I love being here.
I love seeing you. I love seeing you bullfighting too, but what a great name, Dakota West. I mean, I would love to trade in my name, Ronnie Ray Hall, for that perfect cowboy name, Dakota West.
I appreciate it.
You know, I've heard many times over the years, as I've been in the rodeo business on times, produced a couple of rodeos, but I've heard that the only reason to ride a bull is to meet a pretty nurse. Now, does the same thing apply to bullfighters?
That's actually a pretty good question. I would definitely say that nurses probably invented the sport of bull riding just so then they can meet good-looking cowboys. But more than likely, bullfighters could go in to meet pretty girls for sure. Could get into it, yeah.
Hey, well, my old granddaddy used to say, if you mess with the bull, you get the horns. And that first clip that we saw of you today on your first day of bullfighting school, my friend, you got the horns.
Yeah, there were a couple of times that whole week and throughout the entire time that I've been bullfighting where I've been wrapped up pretty good like that. Those bulls don't mess around, man. I mean, I could say this for anybody that's watching. If somebody were to come get in your face and in your personal bubble in your home or whatever, and they're in your face, you're going to want to fight them too. You're going to want to hit them. So these bulls are just doing the same thing.
Well, I don't know that I would want to fight him. I would probably run. But I saw you charge a bull that was charging you, and he won that first round.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
But I've been around cowboys my whole life, and I have to tell you, I have never met one cowboy until I met you who actually dreamed and wanted to be a bullfighter. So I don't know, how does that happen?
For me, I mean, I've always just kind of been the kind of kid growing up. I didn't want to be like everybody else. Everybody else was interested in like football, sports, and everything like that. I wanted to do music, and then whenever sports finally came into play, I was a really, really small kid. I mean, started wrestling in 8th grade, and I was really, really small, like 85 pounds at the time.
Yeah, my son was an 85-pound wrestler who became a state champion.
Heck yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, so I was a really small kid, wanted to do wrestling, just didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. Everybody else, especially, so we're here in Texas. Football is king in Texas. I'm not a big fan. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll go out and I'll play football with some friends or anything like that. Don't sign me up for a professional league or anything like that. I'll die. But for me, like growing up, I just didn't want to do everything that everybody else wanted to do. I wanted to be different. And so kind of how the bullfighting sort of stigma came around was I was always hanging out up here in the stockyards with some buddies and everything like that, and a lot of my friends became they were rodeo cowboys, and so they were always inviting me out to practice pens, wanting me to come out, just kind of hang out and see everything about it. And I always talk to them about like, oh yeah, I'm one of those fearless guys. I could do whatever I wanted to. So one day I actually went out there. My buddy, he goes, I will pay you to get on a bull. And he was like, and I'll pay for your way in too. And I was like, you couldn't pay me enough to get on a bull. Bull riders, I think, are crazy. I
think they are too.
Personally, I don't know how you can convince yourself to get onto a 1,700, 2,000 pound animal, hold on for 8 seconds, fall off, and pray to God he doesn't turn around and hit you. But I told him, you couldn't pay me enough. But I saw what the bullfighters were doing at these practice pens, and for me, it wasn't just a sport. It was a movement, almost an art form. It was almost like dancing with these bulls, where you make the bull move however you want that bull to move instead of that bull controlling your movement. And so I was just completely hooked on it just from watching it. And plus, I'd seen a couple documentaries on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But never thought that I could actually get into it, just because I was like, I'm 21, I've already lived out the legacy of trying to be a rodeo athlete, and then turns out a lot of the rodeo athletes were around my age and hadn't been doing it for a whole, some bullfighters have been doing it for years and years and years. Some of them had just started when they're around my age. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to be in there next week. My buddy said, no, you won't. Very next week, I was using a borrowed vest, some of my old soccer cleats, and I was tossed into the arena and said, good luck. If a bull turns towards somebody, you better be there. And I was like, great. But I mean, since that, it was right before COVID, probably.
I did see one of those film clips. And
yeah.
I saw that you did really well for about the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like he tossed you, like he launched you to go to the moon.
Yeah, just about. That's about what happens, yeah. From there...
I thought maybe you wanted to be an astronaut after that.
Oh, man. I love the stars, don't get me wrong. Astronomy's pretty cool. But from that point on, I started right before COVID, probably end of October, November is whenever I actually got started in it. And then COVID hit, so rodeos just kind of died off for a
So,
little bit.
but I think our listeners today, I don't think probably very few of them would even realize that rodeo bullfighting is also a separate sport just from protecting the cowboys in the arena. So
Yeah.
what is that sport of rodeo bullfighting?
So bullfighting, it's all bullfighting really, but there are two types of bullfighting. There's protection, which they do in rodeos, and then there's also freestyle bullfighting. So protection in the rodeos is exactly as you see at the PBR, the NFR, some practice pens for bull riders, and some rodeos that you'll see going around and everything like that. So that's protection side, where rider falls off, bullfighter comes in, takes the bull off and away from the rider, and then basically disappears so then the bull can go through the outgate. Freestyle bullfighting, on the other hand, completely different world. It's you and a full-blooded Mexican fighting bull. And
For how long?
For a minute.
For 1 minute.
For 1 minute.
You and the bull.
Yes, 40 seconds are mandatory in order to have a score. 20 seconds are optional in order to do some crazy
Get away with
trick.
your life.
Well, to do some crazy trick to sell the fight, basically, to make it look like, hey, I'm not tired, I can do this all day, or basically just do something really cool to make the crowd really, really amp up. And so, I mean, Mexican bulls are a completely different world than the bucking bulls. They see something and instantly they want to hit it. But that's the crazy part about it, is because everything is so split second with freestyle bullfighting with a Mexican bull, that everything from the protection side actually slows down, because you're able to read the body movement of that bull better, and you're able to protect the rider and yourself and your other fighter along with that.
Where did you get such courage? I mean, and confidence. I mean, the confidence to step in this ring like we are right here, and you are 20 feet away from a raging bull who wants to kill you. Where did you get that kind of courage?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you. For me and my thought
Genetics?
process, I would say yeah, just because my mom, she was riding bulls before women's bull riding was actually cool. They actually have a women's bull riding association, which is awesome that women are actually able to get the spotlight of bull riding, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's for boys or whatever, and I'm like, no, those girls are a whole lot tougher than some of these guys are. I've seen some of these girls amp it up. But my mom was just always one of the guys, always out there messing with the livestock, just being out there and basically being what a cowgirl really is. Just
Well, I know that you show a lot of confidence
Yeah.
in that, a lot of courage. But what our listeners don't know, you've had to overcome some really insurmountable
Yeah.
negativity in your life, the consequences of growing up as a homeless kid in a foster home and actually in an orphan's home.
yeah.
And what was that like?
Growing up in a children's home, it was crazy. At one point, there were 14 kids in the home at one point. I don't know if you could imagine 14 kids running around in your home, but I mean, my guardians did it. The ones that raised me did it. Lynette and Steve, I couldn't thank them enough, because they took me off the streets. I don't know where I would be if they hadn't taken me in. I would probably be in a whole lot of trouble. I'd probably be locked up somewhere. But growing up in the home, I was off the streets and I was being cared for by two people that literally didn't have anything to do with me, didn't have any relation to me, and took the time out of it. But with that being said, 14 kids in the home at one point, that's a lot of attention to give everybody. And for me, seeing friends having normal families and being able to do all these different things.
Were you around animals that made you want to be a part of this rodeo or Western lifestyle?
Yeah, so like I said, growing up in that home, seeing friends with families and animals and stuff like that, I just kind of wanted that. I wanted a normal family. So whenever growing up, we kind of had a whole lot of animals, a lot of dogs, a lot of cats, a lot of horses. We had 3 horses at one point, then we got rid of those. And then probably about my senior year, Steve Gray, he's the father of the home, the father figure of the home. He got some beef cattle. We've always had 1 or 2 beef cattle just kind of on the property whenever.
Did you try to ride them?
I never tried to ride them. I was actually, to be honest, I was always, I don't know how I became a bullfighter, because even going out there to cattle. I was like, this thing could mow me over in a second. My back is turned. I'm feeding them. If it decides to flip a switch, I could get hit.
I know that through the generosity of my cowboy friends and the generosity of the members of my Cowboy Buckaroo Bible Study, our Same Kind of Different as Me Foundation sponsored you to go to Cody Webster's bullfighting school. And he was a great coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, Cody Webster's a great guy. Like, he's top ranked right now. The dude's
the number one bullfighter in the world.
Yeah, he's been the number one. Like, he was named number one bullfighter of the year last year at the NFR. He's been at the NFR for quite a few years, fights for the PBR, gets hired out, has his own fighting cattle and everything like that. And the dude's just absolutely phenomenal. I love what he was able to do and what he was able to teach us.
He was great for us to meet him also. Let's hear a little clip right now from Cody Webster of Wayne, Oklahoma, the world champion bullfighter. Roll that clip, please. Cody, give us a little rundown on what is bullfighting.
Yeah, bullfighting, I mean, it's
why does anybody want to be one?
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm too lazy to work and too scared to steal. But it's something I've loved doing. It's a passion I've had since I was a little kid. And it's just one of them deals, you know, as far as bullfighting goes. I get asked all the time, what is bullfighting? Are you the guy with the cape and the sword? And it's far from that. It's American freestyle bullfighting as a competition to where it's a man versus the bull for a 70-second dance. If there's going to be any bloodshed, it's going to be the bullfighter, not the bull. And you know, just getting to bring these young guys in and train them here at the Bull School. It's something that we've been working on for quite a few years now, and we're breeding and raising our own fighting stock and everything that goes into this. So you know, just for me, it's a passion and something I love doing. But getting to bring in young guys like Dakota and the rest of the crew, just giving back to the industry that's took care of me for so long. Man, I think that nails it on the head. I just enjoy what I get to do. Bullfighting happens to be it.
All right. Well, we love watching you. I was showing our producer Lily here last night some of you in action at the NFR and things like that.
Right.
She said, oh, I can't watch it. Oh, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I said, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like chaos and everything when it's going down, but you know, here at the Bull School, we like to break things down and really slow it down and give each student the opportunity to be set up for success, you know. And I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to A, how hard the kid wants it, but B, also setting him up on the right caliber of cattle and allowing him to leave here successful.
All right, great. I want to get Ashley Webster. She's the wind beneath your wings here that gives you loft when you are floating over those bulls. Come in here, Ashley Webster. I saw the little boy out here. Is he training to be a bullfighter?
Oh, there's about 3 or 4. Yeah, we got JW Nude around here. They're quite the duo. They little brother and big brother, and they're always fighting with each other, out here fighting bulls or whatever, you know. But they're hard to deal with, but we love them, and man, it's a cool place to be, you know. We have all these kids running around, and you know, if we can get them hooked on bullfighting or rodeo, it's better than getting hooked on drugs.
Amen to that.
That'll preach, brother.
That's what we
That'll
like
preach.
doing.
That will preach, yes.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys showing up and helping Dakota out and just coming to the ranch and enjoying it.
Make all this possible.
Yep. Thank you all.
Good.
Thanks, Cody.
It's a great dude. I learned more in those 3 days than anything that I could have learned. Honestly, Cody knows what he's talking about. He's been doing this for a long, long time. He's been fighting bulls for God knows how long. So he knows he knows the tips, the tricks, everything that there possibly is to know about having to fight bulls. So I'm definitely thankful for what he was able to teach me there.
Well, I know that you are a recent graduate of his bullfighting school, which we had the privilege of being there to film you.
Yes, sir.
So we have some more surprises to come. But I loved being a part of that. And I didn't realize that even existed. But now that you have begun your dream and lived your dream of going to rodeo bullfighting school, what is your next dream?
The next goal is basically to try to get my name out there and get as many performances as I can, whether it be freestyle bullfighting or doing protection. I just want to be able to bullfight full time, 9 to 5. Like, sure, that pays bills and everything like that, but I wanted to be able to make bullfighting pay the bills, and then maybe get back into some music as well. I do write and play my own music as well, so really kind of want to get back into that.
And I know you told me that you write and play your own music, and I want to be able to hear you, but unfortunately I know during COVID,
Yeah.
you became homeless again.
Yep.
And you had to sell your guitar just to even buy food
Yep.
during that period of time.
Pay bills, yeah.
And hopefully, maybe somebody, a listener out there today, has a spare acoustic guitar. That's what you play.
Shoot, I would love that. Yeah.
But anyway, I would love to be able to hear you and sit down sometime and write songs. I've always wanted to be a songwriter too. Maybe we can write a song together.
Hey, I'm down.
Yes.
I'm
so
down. We'll just grab a guitar, we'll strum a little bit and see what we can come up with.
Well, I know I'm really proud of you because you're a hard worker. You're an honest, great young man and I'm proud that you now have a full-time job where you can at least pay the bills and where you can spend your weekends maybe in the bull arena, living your dream.
Yeah, I would love that, being able to travel the country fighting bulls. Like, everybody always dreams about, like, oh, I want to have a family and I want to do this. Like, I have those goals too, but also traveling the country fighting bulls, there's not much more that, like, people always complain about their jobs. If you love what you do for your job, there's never a dull moment.
Sleeping in the backseat of a pickup on the way.
I don't want to sleep in the backseat of a pickup, but, something maybe a little more accommodating.
All right, well, I want to thank you for having the show.
Thank you.
Because now I want to tell our listeners the rest of the story. And now I want to share with our audience, in the famous words of the late, great Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. 3 months ago, I was checking emails one Sunday morning and noticed a headline, "Help Dakota West live his dream as a rodeo bullfighter." It was a GoFundMe account. It raised $70 at that point toward a $2,000 goal with just a week to go. It struck me at that moment that I might actually know Dakota, and as Beth joined me on the sofa for coffee, I told her I just donated $100 to someone that I might have known 20 years earlier. And as I began telling her about a baby boy who was born to a homeless single mom at the mission where Debbie, my late wife, and I had begun serving, Beth's head was spinning with ideas on how to make Dakota's dream come true. I told her about the first time that Debbie and I saw Dakota, a newborn, as his mom carried him through the serving line at the Union Gospel Mission in Fort Worth, Texas. He was a beautiful baby, but with severely deformed legs and feet. In fact, doctors had said most likely he would never be able to walk. Debbie immediately fell in love with this baby, and within a few months we took Dakota and his mom to Shriners Hospital for the Children in Dallas. And he had surgery there. We loved on him as he recovered, as if he were our own, and we watched him crawl in full leg cast and later braces and a walker. And after more surgeries, cast, and braces, we helped him and his mom get a home and a car. One day Debbie and I went to check on him, and he was gone. CPS had picked him up and taken him to an undisclosed location. Debbie's heart was broken, and we asked that since we were not family, Child Protective Services would give us no information. And then 2 years later, Debbie died of cancer. For 20 years, I have often wondered what ever happened to that little Dakota that we both loved. And then 3 months ago, after pushing donate $100 on a GoFundMe appeal, Beth said, if this is the Dakota that you and Debbie loved, we'll raise the entire $2,000 and make sure he gets into bull school. Facing a deadline of less than a week to raise the money, Beth and 8 of my cowboy friends at our Buckaroo Bible study, we raised the whole amount through donations to our Same Kinda Different As Me Foundation. Earlier, we showed you a clip from day 1 of bull school. Now, brace yourself for this video of the dramatic conclusion to day 2 as the world champion Cody Webster gives a brief demonstration, then calls for Dakota, the homeless kid who was never expected to walk, to work his magic with an angry, charging bull. enjoyed this as much as Beth and I have enjoyed reconnecting with this fine young man with a great name and a great future, Dakota West. If you would like to help other homeless kids' dreams come true, go to samekindfoundation.org and donate. And thanks again to our sponsor, Cavenders, and to Billy Bob's Texas for hosting us today. And of course to Cody Webster for his hospitality at his beautiful ranch in Wayne, Oklahoma, and allowing us to film Dakota at the bullfighting school. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and remember to subscribe and listen to The Ron Hall Show or on YouTube or wherever you get your audio and video podcasts. But until next time, vaya con Dios, my friends. And thanks, Dakota, for being on the show.
Thanks again for having
you
me.
bet. I want to tip my hat to you, but I didn't have one on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Also want to give a huge shout out to Red Seagull. Thank you so much for the contribution.
Red Steagle, you're one of my heroes, man. Thanks for all the help.
You are my hero, you know that for sure. So,
For all my rodeo cowboy friends.
You bet.
For sure. Also want to give a huge shout out to Mike Cavender for sponsoring this podcast and this interview. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and I thank you so much for all that you do for the Western culture. Without any of y'all's help, I couldn't be out here doing what I absolutely love, doing what I just dream about doing daily, and just trying to become the best bullfighter that I can. I absolutely can't thank any of you guys enough. You guys are superstars, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.